Okay, so this session, everyone, welcome, is shoulder and neck release. So I was just saying to people live, if you have a trigger ball, we may use it tonight. If you don't have a trigger ball, you can use equally a lacrosse ball, which I know is not a very common thing. So maybe you don't have a lacrosse ball either. Lacrosse ball is slightly preferable to a tennis ball, but you can also use a tennis ball. The reason a tennis ball is not as good as it's a little bit too soft, really, but it can work. It's the tennis ball is quite nice to start with if you've never done it before, because it's not so firm, so you just get sort of a gentle introduction into release. So neck and shoulders, what we're going to do is start with some gentle breath work. So we always, before we do any release, go into our calming breath, whatever your, so I'm going to guide you through 4-6, it's extended exhale breathing, but you can use, before this routine, you can use whatever you have in your first 4 weeks routine as your calming, grounding breath work. You might want to join me and try 4-6 if you've not done it before. So we can do it you can either be seated and just nice and supported, or what's quite nice if you want to try it is just lying down actually with your knees bent. So just on your back and your knees bent is quite nice. It's quite sort of supportive position, and I quite like just having like a little wiggle around on my lower back in that position as well. So yeah, just get yourself comfortable and we'll start. So let's just start by just lowering our gaze or closing your eyes, whatever you feel more comfortable doing. And just bringing attention and awareness internally and attention to your breath to start with. So just noticing the speed of your breath and also the depth of your breath. So we're just doing this with curiosity and not judgment, and just noticing, are we breathing fairly quickly and into the chest, in which case we're probably still more in sympathetic fight and flight arousal, or are we breathing a little more slowly and more down into the rib cage and tummy, in which case we are more in our parasympathetic rest and digest, or you might be somewhere between the two. So just notice where you are before we change anything. And then just breathing in and out through the nose for a few breaths. So it's inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And again, inhaling, exhaling through the nose. We're just going to change that now to an inhale for 4 counts and an exhale for 6. So by just extending our exhale over our inhale, we favour our parasympathetic, which is where we want to get into before we start doing the release. We want our body to be in that rest and digest. So inhaling through the nose for 2, 3, 4, and out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in for 2, 3, 4, and out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in for 2, 3, 4, and out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and last one, in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still breathing through the nose. You can keep your eyes lowered or your eyes closed if you want, just keeping the breathing going through the nose, but we're just letting go of the count. So just gentle inhales and exhales through the nose. And as you inhale, you're just going to rise the shoulders up towards the ears and roll them back and down as you exhale. So inhale, just lifting the shoulders up to the ears. Nice big full round exhale back and down. And again, inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling, rising up to the ears. Make it big and exaggerated. Exhale back down again. One more rolling backwards. So in, raising the shoulders up to the ears. Exhaling back and down. And we're just going to go the other way. So in, rising up to the ears again. Exhaling, bringing the shoulders forward this time. So we're really going to try rounding the top part of that spine as we roll the shoulders forward. Inhaling, bringing up to the ears. Exhale, just really try and, like you're grabbing a ball, roll forward and down. Again, inhaling up. Exhale, roll forward and down. And now let's actually bring the arms in. So we're just going to inhale and bring the arms, just make sure I don't hit anything. Here's, I've got a desk to the side, I need to move back a bit. We're just going to inhale and open our arms as we inhale through our nose. Exhale, and then we're just going to really round the back. So we're really exaggerating what we've just done, rounding the lower back and the upper back, and then bringing the head down as well. Inhaling, rising up, opening the chest. Exhaling, rolling, rolling, holding that ball, tucking the head comes down last. Inhaling, opening nice and wide. Exhaling, rounding the back, rolling down, tucking the chin. Inhaling. And again, exhaling forward. And last one, inhaling. It's nice, open, open, open. Exhaling, just tuck the chin and round. And just come back to a neutral spine and just give the head a little move, shoulders a little roll. Okay, we're just going to loosen up the neck next. So just coming to a seated position, just a neutral, so you just want a neutral spine. You don't need to be exaggerated up or rounded, but just sort of neutral spine position. And we're just going to start by tucking our chin towards our chest. And then as you inhale, we're just going to look over the right shoulder. Hold for a second and exhale there. Inhale, come down to the center. Over the left shoulder. Exhale there. Inhale. Over the right shoulder. Exhale. Inhale, tucking the chin. Over the left shoulder. Exhale. One more. Inhale and tucking the chin, looking over the right shoulder. And exhale. Inhale, tucking the chin, looking over the left shoulder. Exhale. Just come back to the center. And now we're just going to look up to the sky. So just be careful if you have vertigo. Just don't do the looking up to the sky because it can exasperate your vertigo. So if you have vertigo, just keep your head neutral when I do the up to the sky. But otherwise, if you're fine with it, just looking up, stretching the chin and the head, and then exhaling as we come down, tucking the chin again. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, tucking the chin. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, tucking the chin. If this makes you feel slightly dizzy, just close your eyes, it helps. Inhaling, looking up. And then last one, exhaling, tucking the chin. Okay, so we're just going to move on. I'm just checking what we're doing. We're going to lie down, so I'm going to just change my camera angle. Oh gosh, wish me luck, everyone. Let's see if this is going to work now. Yes, it will, hopefully. Yay. Okay, so we're going to lie down on our back with our knees bent. So just knees bent and lying down on your back. And you might want to, if you've got like a little blanket, or I'm actually just going to get my hoodie and just tuck that under my head. So just make yourself comfortable in terms of support your head and your neck to whatever level you need, so that so basically what you want when you've got we're going to have our knees bent, but just checking once you've got into that position, just checking all the way down your spine and just noticing, is all of your spine pressed against the mat? And if it's not, so for example, if I take this away, then I can feel my lower back starting to raise off of the floor. So we just want to sort of support your head so that you can get into a nice neutral position with your spine all the way down against the floor. So just checking that first and continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. And now we're just going to place our arms out to our side with our elbows bent. So you just want them at this sort of angle to start. And just holding there, breathing in and out through the nose. So you should feel this stretch in the outside of the chest. So we're now opening up what's called the pec minor, but this, when it's impinged, can often cause a lot of shoulder tension, particularly rounded shoulders, so rounded forward when this is tight. And it's a really common one to tighten when we're working in desk a lot during the day with our sort of forward position. So just breathing in and out through your nose. If, when you do this, you can't get the back of your hands on the floor, you can use some props. So if you've got like blankets, pillows, you can just put them under the backs of your hands so that your hands are slightly raised up, and that's absolutely fine. And then as you should find, as you start to breathe in and out through the nose and just hold, your body would eventually start to open, and you may be able to then either take some of the folds away from the blanket so that it's more flat on the floor, or you might be able to move it totally. But what we want to feel here, as we're just gently resting here, is around about a 4 out of 10 in intensity of stretch. So we don't want this to be like, oh, that's really ouchy. It's about a 4. If we do any more than that, the body will just brace and tighten again against it, because it will just be too much. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to move our hands up so that we're more at a sort of 90 degree. And again, just letting our hands fold back onto the floor. You should feel that slightly higher up in the chest now. So across the whole of the top of the chest, as opposed to just that sort of shoulder, outside of the shoulder and in the armpit. It should be sort of more across the whole of the top of the chest. Breathing in and out through the nose as we hold that there. So we just hold each of these poses for around a minute or even 2 minutes if you have time. And this just allows the body and the brain to become comfortable in that position and then to start to let go. It also allows the brain time to actually connect to what we're doing. So when we hold a stretch for less than 30 seconds, we're not really changing the brain-body connection. Anything less than 30 seconds doesn't give the brain enough time to sort of register what we're doing. And then anywhere that's over tight, as we hold this for 1 to 2 minutes, it allows the brain to recognize, actually, that's over tight, I can release that. And we're also getting into the ends of the muscle as opposed to just stretching through the muscle, or the fascia and the ends of the muscle as well. But just holding for a little longer. Breathing in and out through the nose as we're doing this. So always signaling safety to the body, like this is okay. So this is quite a vulnerable position because we're obviously lying with our arms out, palms up, in a sort of position of surrender. And obviously the whole of the front of the body is open. So again, just take it gently. And if you're doing this and it does feel really uncomfortable, like you feel really exposed, then you can place a blanket or something just on your front or on your tummy, just to give you a little bit more feeling of security and protection till you get used to this sort of very open position. Okay, so when you're ready, we're just going to gently bring the arms back into the side of the body. Bring the hands down onto the floor. Let's give the shoulders a little wiggle. Okay, good, well done. I'm just going to check my notes. Everyone stay where you are for a sec, because you might not need to move. Don't want to make you sit up if you don't need to. Just checking where we're going after that. Okay, yeah, so we are going to do some trigger point work. So you can stay lying down actually. Um, if you do have I'm just going to show you with the trigger point ball. If you have the trigger point ball, I'm just going to show you it with it. So if you've got the trigger point ball, we're just going to place that. So you're going to find your upper trap, which is basically this. Actually, let me just see if I can show you. It's this part of a shoulder here with the big thick muscle that you can grab, but you'll also find it down behind here, so it goes in sort of like a V shape down the back. It's what when you see bodybuilders and they do that pose and they've got that like the wings. It's all of that muscle there. So we're just going to find any part of that area. If you have the massage ball, I'll just show you with it first, and then if you don't have it, I'm going to show you how you can do the same without. So if you've got the massage ball, we're just going to place it underneath that part of our back, the part of our back, and just wiggle around, putting a little bit of pressure. So you put a little bit of pressure through, and then just notice what you feel and what we're looking for. So I'm just going to like slide myself along on my ball. What we're looking for is a point where you suddenly find a tender spot, and you'll notice it. So this is called trigger point. The trigger point. This is why the ball is called a trigger release ball. So once you find that, which I have, then you just hold in that position, breathing in and out, placing enough pressure. So you want this to be more than a 4 out of 10, because what we're doing here is we're finding the place where we've got lots of fibrous muscle tissues that are all like jammed up together. And by putting pressure on that point, first of all, the pressure will allow that muscle tissue to become hydrated, so allow moisture to go into that muscle tissue like a sponge, which will allow it to open. So you imagine that when you put a sponge in water and it opens. So when we've got knots, the blood's restricted. Often we're not getting a lot of hydration around that muscle tissue, so it continues to be tight and restricted. So firstly, we need to put pressure so that we can allow it to open up in terms of the hydration of it. But secondly, by putting more pressure, if you've had this done in massage, you'll recognise this. Getting the brain's attention is brought to that over tight area, and the brain will go, "Oh, that's over tight." And what you'll find, if you're on the right spot, is all of a sudden that muscle will go up and just release, like the whole of the muscle from just that one trigger point. So again, we hold for. There's not really a time on this, so you sort of hold. You just feel into it and hold until you feel that release. Either you'll feel like that point that was really that was like quite, ooh, I can barely like hold the pressure, it would just suddenly disappear. Or you'll feel that sudden softening of the muscle, and that's when you've done enough. Okay, so we're going to do both sides. Let me just show you, if you've got your trigger ball, you do the other side. So whichever side of your spine you've just done, swap to the other side. If you don't have your trigger ball, we're just going to come up to seated position, and we're just going to do a little trapezius massage with our hand. So we're going to take our hand like this. So we want it's quite a big muscle. So we want to get like a good fistful. And we're literally just going to let your arm be loose and hand be loose. And we're just going to squeeze on that muscle and then move a little bit, squeeze. So again, we're breathing in and out through the nose as we're doing this. If you're on your trigger ball, just holding that on that other side. If you're with me in doing that hand release, we're just squeezing that along that muscle. And again, we're just really, with this, we're just helping the circulation move through. So by increasing the circulation, this is like when you get an injury and you put heat on it. We're just allowing that circulation to go into to put the fresh blood in there, to allow that muscle to release and to repair. And then we just swap and do the other side, same thing. Just nice squeezes through. Okay, so once you've done that, you can come into, we're actually going to go on our hands and knees. We're just going to go into a little bit more of a shoulder release. So we're going to do what's called thread the needle. Just going to check, yeah, I'm going to that next. Okay, so I'll keep the same camera on because it's probably easier for you to see what I'm doing. So we're going to come onto all fours for this, and we're going to take let's start with our left hand, and we're going to place our left hand through the gap between our leg and our right hand with our palm facing upwards. And then once we've come through that little gap, excuse me, we're just going to lower our shoulder down and put our ear onto the floor. And just holding that position, breathing in and out through the nose. So however far you stretch the hand away, the further you stretch the hand away, the more the stretch will be. So you should feel it in the outer part of the shoulder here. You can make the stretch less by bringing your hand further back. So bring your hand closer to you. And you can make the stretch more by pushing your hand away. So then you're just breathing in and out through the nose. Again, if this is too much, you can use blanket, hoodie, whatever you have to hand, for your head. So you just roll it up to a little pad, and then just come down to that. And then that again will just give you slightly less stretch because you're coming down less in terms of the distance. So we're just holding here again, breathing in and out through the nose gently. This gentle breathing. Just remembering to find that 4 out of 10. So we don't want to be any more than a 4. But what you might find as you're holding this is that you have to constantly adjust to maintain 4. So you might start, and you might get into a position and be like, that's good, that's a 4. And then your body may release and it's a 3, so you have to stretch a little further. Or sometimes what can happen is your body resists. So you start with what's a 4, and then all of a sudden that becomes a 6. So you have to back off a little. So we've got a double benefit of doing this, because by constantly checking in on that, am I a 4 out of 10, we're teaching ourselves to really listen to and connect to our body and to hear what's going on, to feel what's going on, and to not push too hard. Okay, so let's come up from where we were and just do the other side. So now, again, we want to go onto hands and knees, and we're going to take our right hand, and our right hand is going to come through between our left hand and our right knee, with our palm facing upwards of our right hand. And then we just lower our ear down. And again, if you need it, actually need a little pad that side. That shoulder is tighter than the other. So this is quite common. You'll find one side is tighter than the other side. Just holding that there, breathing in and out through the nose. So you may find, maybe not so much for shoulders, but when we do things like hips, maybe on the chest one as well, you may get it. You may find emotion starting to come up when you do these stretches. And if that happens, it's if you've done the breathwork part of the course, the release breathwork, it's the same as when that happens. So you just, if you can, just allow that to be, not try to process or to go into your head about what is this, just let your body do what it needs to. You may get a slight tremoring happen as well. in certain positions, and you may get like a sigh, and this is all like little mini releases, your body doing little mini releases, which is absolutely fine. If it feels uncomfortable, it starts to feel like you're getting to the edge of your window of tolerance. Just go to your breath again and go to your anchor. So whatever your anchor is that you found in week 3, just bring that back in. Okay, so just coming out from that, we're just going to go back to a seated position. I'm just going to swap my cameras back over. Oops, not that one, that one. There we go. Okay, so just coming back to seated, and we're just finished with just a few more shoulder rolls. Just breathing in and out through the nose a few times. You might want to just shake it out a little and just gently move the head from side to side. Okay, thank you everyone. I'm going to stop recording. For people live, I'm going to stay on. So